This morning, 7 locations in New Jersey were hit with hoax bomb threats, disrupting voting in largely Democrat areas, though some of the areas that were threatened were still Republican-dominant areas. Zohran Mamdani is blaming Donald Trump for the bomb threats and the intimidation at the polls. But we are looking at, let's just call it a turning point, as it were, for this country with New York's election. Many people are saying, let Zohran Mamdani win. He's a communist. Maybe New York can see what it's really like to have communism, and then they'll learn their lesson. The only problem, 1 million or so people are threatening to flee the city if the man wins, and it will entrench communist authority in our greatest city. So Donald Trump somehow endorses Andrew Cuomo, saying, don't let Mamdani win. So I'd like to take a look at what the current predictions are and what will actually happen. What's up with these threats? Who is Zohran Mamdani? He is a communist. He is. He's literally tweeted, each according to their ability, each according to their need. He is a communist. He's also hashtagged communism before and called for communists to win. He's only pretending he's not now because he knows it is dangerous and not very popular. But mark my words or Trump's, if Zohran Mamdani wins in New York, it is the fall of New York. Now, Trump is threatening to withhold federal funding to a great degree if he does win. So we'll see. The prediction markets right now favor Zohran Mamdani to win. However, it's been noted for some time that whales can manipulate these markets to alter perception. Unlike polls, the prediction markets shift based on trade volume. So with a poll, you got to own the pollster to manipulate whether the public perception on this one. So you can hire a company to intentionally ask certain people, knowing you're skewing the results, to convince people that the Democrats can't lose and, people just like to vote for whoever's going to win. With the prediction markets, one person can simply buy millions of dollars worth of, yes, Mamdani wins, and then makes it look like Mamdani is going to win. What if it's not true? Internal polling data, internal trading data from Kalshi suggests in New York City's confines, Cuomo is the favorite. But outside of New York, Mamdani is 9-1 to win. Now we're hearing reports that whales are flooding the betting markets for Cuomo in New York, suggesting they know something we don't. Now, who am I? All I can really say is this. Did you guys know that just before 9/11, put options on major airline stock were at record levels? It just really makes no sense. Now, I'm sure there could be an explanation, but somehow and for some reason, many people wagered that major airline stock value would collapse right before 9/11 happened. So who am I? What do I know? The one thing I can say is when you hear that a bunch of whales are dumping money on Cuomo to win and their payout is going to be 12x, I have to wonder, lunatics or insiders? Now, again, this is not a secret. Kalshi has put the data out. They said it. In New York City, Cuomo has the edge. But when we look at the data for trading, Mamdani is 90% to win, but that is data from outside the city. What do these people know? Perhaps these whales betting heavily on Cuomo to win are just, it's a value bet. Hey, if he wins, I get a lot of money. We'll see. We'll get into all of this, my friends, but before we do, we got a great sponsor for you. It is Beam Dream. Head over to shopbeam.com/Timcast, and you can get 50% off your nighttime blend to support better sleep. I drink Beam Dream every night before bed. That is not a script. That is a fact. They first sponsored the show. I said, all right, this looks good. I'll try it out. First few days, it's good stuff. It's a hot cocoa before bed. It's got magnesium, L-theanine, melatonin. After like 3 or 4 days, my sleep improved dramatically. I didn't even think I was sleeping poorly, but I got these sleep trackers and my metrics all improved. And guys, listen to me. During deep sleep and REM sleep is when your body produces testosterone and human growth hormone. So you need to get good sleep. You don't want to be disrupted, interrupted. Beam Dream has really improved my sleep score by like 10 points. Okay, that's an actual number. So go to shopbeam.com/Timcast. Pick up your Beam Dream. Listen, you're getting hydrated. You're getting magnesium right before bed, and it tastes great. I'm a big fan. Thank you, Beam Dream, for sponsoring the show. But don't forget, my friends, as well. Right now, go to timcast.com. Click Join Us and get in the Discord community. You got to do it. Community is our strength. We must reject those that seek to divide and conquer. We must team up, share ideas, build a culture and community. As a member of the Timcast.com Discord, you are supporting the work that we do so we can continue to make all of the shows that we make. And I work 16-hour days just for you. And it's thanks to you as members it's possible, because if you weren't members, it would not be possible. Tens of thousands of people are in this community. There's shows, there's programs. People are making video games. There's after shows, VIP shows, the Friday backstage event where you get to watch live in the Discord our pre-production process for Timcast IRL, and we read your comments on the show. Check it out. Smash the like button. Share the show with everyone you know. Let's get to the big story. The Washington Times, Mamdani blames Trump for bomb threats and intimidation at the polls. I got the video for you. Roll tape.
And I think that it is an illustration of the attacks we're seeing on our democracy. Sometimes they're blatant and explicit in the manner of these bomb threats. And we have to understand this as part of the general approach the Trump administration has taken to trying to intimidate voters with baseless allegations of voter fraud as a means of trying to repress the voice of Americans across this country.
Americans. Did you guys know that, I think it's Queens, 48% of Queens is foreign born? What does it mean to be an American? Now, me personally, I'm a big fan of immigration. Big fan of immigration. I think it's fantastic. Legally. When it's done legally, it's great. That means we as Americans who were born here, who inherit this country and work to maintain it, decide whether the immigrant coming is going to help us maintain this, believes in our values. But the Democrats are just like, open the door and let anybody in. Who cares? Now, I understand population collapse has never been recovered from, but I would rather have an economically destitute nation where I have to work 16-hour days manually tilling my fields if it means I maintain my nation's values. This graph goes up idea is shockingly offensive to me. I was debating, there's this old man, a liberal, and he's saying, you need the immigrants because they do the jobs. And I said, some things are more important than money. I would rather enter a small town of only a few hundred people. We all know each other's names. Christmas morning, everyone gets together, snow falling all around, smiles, candles, presents. I would rather that than cheap milk, bread, and eggs, and people who can't speak the same language arguing over whether or not it's a holiday or not. What's fascinating to me is a lot of these people who are talking about diversity. There's one viral clip where a woman's like, I want to live in a city where I can't understand anybody. It's literally the story of the Tower of Babel, breaking community apart, weakening us and conquering us. No, I reject it. But this is who Zohran Mamdani is. What more do you expect? Now take a look at this. This is the story from this morning. I'll give you the quick context for those that missed it. New Jersey Election Day bomb threats shut down polling sites in 7 key counties with governor's race in dead heat. We don't know who's going to win. The polling favors Mickey Sherrill, but Jack Ciattarelli could possibly win this if y'all go out and vote. Law enforcement officers have responded at each affected polling place, and they have worked swiftly to secure those polling locations, and ensure the safety of every voter. Indeed. According to Mediaite, they say this: the New York City mayor's race is over. According to the betting markets, the money is speaking loudly. But is it? Mamdani, a self-proclaimed Democratic socialist, he's a commie, defeated former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo in the Democratic primary this summer. Cuomo then decided to take another swing at Mamdani by running as an independent. The two are also facing Republican Curtis Sliwa. I don't blame Sliwa for not dropping out of the race. I don't want to vote for Cuomo. It's tough. Let me know what you guys think. Comment below. Would you vote for Cuomo? Man, is that miserable. I'd probably just leave, to be honest. Many pointed out that Cuomo should have dropped out and endorsed Sliwa, and then Sliwa would have actually won. They're going to say current New York City Mayor Eric Adams dropped out of the Democratic primary in April, switched to independent, then exited the race altogether. Monday's betting markets showed just how strong gamblers view Mamdani's chances, with several major sites giving him more than 90% chance of victory. Polymarket gave Mamdani a 92% chance of winning, as well as predicting he would be the strong favorite in 4 of the city's 5 boroughs, all but the most heavily GOP, Staten Island. Cuomo had an 8% chance with Polymarket's bettors. Sliwa was basically non-existent, falling below 1% and ranking below Adams' own less than 1% score. Interesting nonetheless. 115 million wagered on Mamdani, 35 on Cuomo, 25 million on Adams, 56 million on Sliwa. The important thing to understand is that this race has been predicted for some time, so much of that money that was put in probably came in a long time ago. I wouldn't bet on Mamdani. Full disclosure, I traded on the prediction event that Cuomo wins. I'll tell you why in a second. They're going to say predict it had similar results with the price of betting Mamdani win at 90 cents, Cuomo at 15, Sliwa at 1. The red beret Republican did manage to slightly overtake the former candidate Adams here. Interesting indeed. According to Kalshi, Zohran Mamdani's got 90% to win, 11% for Cuomo. This means that if you bet $100, it's something like $1,500 you might actually win. I don't know how they break the math down, but it's somewhere around there, maybe like 13 or 14. Interestingly, the New York Post says wealthy whales may be manipulating elections thanks to prediction market technology. And this story is from October 24th. After several election cycles where polls were off base and media coverage was biased, prediction markets promised to be technology's answer to flawed polling, offering real-time data and financial incentives. But that new technology has made it easier for major players to manipulate public perception, raising concerns about what amplifying that information could mean. Markets are open to manipulation by a small number of deep-pocketed market participants. Dr. Don Moore, the Lorraine Tyson Mitchell Chair in Leadership and Communication at University of California, Berkeley, told me. Kalshi, next New York City Mayor live trades. So basically what these things are, they're event contracts. You are trading on an event occurring. They say it's not betting, but it's basically betting. The only difference is that because the reason why it's not betting is that you can sell at any point. So if before the primaries, Mamdani was really low with maybe 8%, you bought a share for 8 cents. Now it's at 87. You could sell that for 87 cents. You made a profit and the event didn't even happen. I've been surprised over the last few weeks and months that despite polls showing Cuomo inching ahead, the betting odds on platforms like Polymarket and Kalshi have stubbornly shown Mamdani leading with more than 90% of the vote. No headlines and photos of terror sympathizers, candidates dropping out, making endorsements, or poll has changed that. On Polymarket, which isn't technically able to operate in the U.S., that's about to change, and many get around it with VPNs, betting appears to be dominated by a single whale. While users don't have to disclose their real names, the platform's blockchain-based system makes all trading activity public. Positions, betting amounts, trading history, and account creation dates are all visible. Betting markets present an opportunity to manipulate perception. One fear is if your candidate is way ahead in early results, you don't need to get to the poll, but there is a countervailing motivation that some benefits accrue to candidates who seem to be pulling ahead. Well, here we go from thestreet.com. Check this out. Andrew Cuomo wins New York City. If Andrew Cuomo wins New York City mayor, traders could be 12 times richer. Former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's long shot bid for mayor could deliver double-digit returns for traders. So what is the play? Traders betting on Polymarket, the decentralized prediction platform, could see 12-fold payouts if Cuomo wins. The race has drawn global attention. They say data from Polymarket shows the market titled New York City mayoral election has amassed nearly $397 million in total trading volume, making it one of the platform's most active political markets. Of that, more than $123 million has been wagered on Mamdani's win. Built on Polygon, blah, blah, blah. We get it. At those levels, Cuomo's implied odds hover around 8%, reflecting skepticism among traders, but also creating one of the most asymmetric risk-reward setups in current prediction markets. Polymarket's transparent on-chain data shows a spike in activity for Cuomo. One user recently placed a $25,000 bet backing Cuomo, their first recorded trade on the platform. If correct, that position would return nearly $459,000. Data from Polysites indicates that at least 51 active bets on Cuomo's victory, with roughly a quarter of them placed in the past 3 hours. Several whales, high-volume traders with elevated radar scores, have entered with individual positions of ranging to $30,000 to $40,000. Polymarket's contracts settle only after official certification or aligned calls from major U.S. networks. Now, what's the play here? Maybe these whales don't actually think Cuomo's going to win, but you put $30K down on one of these prediction markets, wait a few hours, and by tonight, before the polls close, when Cuomo jumps up to maybe 20% because we'll see some interesting returns, you can double your money before the contract even concludes when you sell your position. Maybe that's the play. However, I actually think there's a decent probability that the corruption machine isn't going to let Mamdani win. He's a deviant. He's not what the establishment uniparty wants. I mean, come on, look at Nancy Pelosi at 85 years old. They don't want AOC to win. Maybe they can't actually stop him. But call shit interesting data showing that inside of New York, Cuomo has the edge. So I personally, full disclosure, put $400 down for Cuomo to win. If he wins, I will get paid out $5,200. That's crazy. I actually kind of think I'm going to lose, to be honest. But when I was looking at all the numbers, the one thing I can tell you is 9-1 makes no sense. Honestly, 9-1 makes no sense. Now, I'm not telling you guys what to do because I think I'm going to lose. I just think I'm EV plus, expected value plus. I think that Cuomo's chance of winning is much higher than the odds are actually paying out. And Cuomo's chances are much lower than they're giving him. Meaning, it's a bad bet to vote on Mamdani. Cuomo, I put his odds probably at 30%, not 10%. But who am I? They're going to mention that traders speculated primarily on whether Trump would, or Joe Biden would win, with Trump's probability between 58 and 61 in the final week before the vote. I think the trades typically do reflect the wisdom of the crowd. And the expectation is that New York City is going to vote for a Democrat. It ain't going to be Cuomo. But understand, New York has a lot of Republicans, and they're not going to spend time on Sliwa. He'll get his votes, he will. But Trump has endorsed Cuomo, which is massive. Now, the question is, who's manipulating the game, and what does Mamdani actually believe? Take a look at this. Libs of TikTok. Who should I vote for in Virginia and New Jersey? Democrat. That's right. I tried it as well. Grok told me to vote for the Democrats. There is a lot of weight and manipulation afoot. Grok, of all platforms, right? Elon's. Times of Israel reports, Trump, any Jewish person who votes for Mamdani is a stupid person. Well, he's not wrong. Anybody who votes for Mamdani is stupid. I see these videos. You got like Nate Friedman asking people what they like about Mamdani, and they're just sub 100 IQ people. And look, it's not an insult. It's a fact. They say it's not socialism. It's social democracy. It's a meaningless distinction. Explain what that means. But in socialism, the workers control the means of production. No, socialism is a scale, left and right. We are in a mixed economy, but we are not socialist nor capitalist. We have more than half of our income is paid in taxes. Did you know that? You may be saying, no, Tim, my effective tax rate is 27%. Then you got property taxes, gas, products, etc. Ultimately, you end up paying more than half of your income in taxes, especially if you're rich in this country. And where does it go? Oh, baby, the war machine for the most part. Trump has put his thumb on the scale, saying you got to vote for Cuomo, and if you're Jewish, you're stupid for voting for Mamdani, who is a communist. Hey, look at this. Zohran Kwame Mamdani. Hey, that's his account. And it says, each according to their need, each according to their ability. Oh, I can't with these people. Guys, there are people who actually believe this. Karl Marx was as dumb as a box of rocks. He didn't understand people. He was retarded. I'm going to say it again. Karl Marx is a retard. He wrote a bunch of retarded garbage and people believed it. Okay. I am going to simply break down for you why this statement is retarded and can never work. My response to this was, each according to their work. That's it. The work you do is what you get. So, my abilities. I have the ability to work 16-hour days. I have the ability to work longer than that. Sometimes I don't have to sleep. It's painful, but I have that ability within me. What are my needs? In order for me to maintain that level of work, I need adequate reward. But that's not what the phrase means. To the communists, they'll say, no, Tim, you need only adequate food. Your needs are what you need to remain healthy, which is shelter and food. Thank you and have a nice day. What they are telling me in this phrase is that they would require of me my maximum output for my minimum return. Humans don't operate that way. Each according to their need means you'll receive the bare minimum. Each according to the ability means you must perform to your maximum. People are going to lose their minds in these systems, and they have. Zohran is an idiot. Oh boy, it's our good friend Grok, which is endorsing the Democrats. List 10 policies Zohran Mamdani proposes for NYC. Simple list. Freeze rent, make city buses free, universal childcare, open city-owned grocery stores, build 200,000 affordable union-built homes, raise the minimum wage to $30 an hour by 2030, create a Department of Community Safety, provide baby baskets to every new parent with diapers, wipes, and city resource guides, make CUNY tuition free, close streets around schools to create car-free, safer play zones. These come straight from his campaign site. Debate answers. I responded with, you forgot to tax white people. But let's go through this. Freeze rents. How do you pay for these buildings, you retard? How do you pay for the buildings? Freeze rent. Okay. Rent is not magic money that goes into the pocket of a landlord who then just throws it around and does whatever he wants with. It's got to cover building maintenance, the superintendent, taxes, insurance, etc. Make city buses free. If the buses could be free, they would be. Money pays the bus driver and fixes the buses. In fact, buses are already subsidized. Make them faster with dedicated lanes and more service. You already have dedicated lanes. Universal free childcare. How do you pay for it? City-owned grocery stores, one per borough. I love this. Bodegas will be forced to compete with government-run stores, and they're going to lose money, and it's going to negatively impact them. Over a long enough period of time, privately owned stores won't be able to compete with the government grocery stores at no profit, and they'll go out of business. And then what happens to the grocery stores owned by the city? Massive food lines. Communists have tried it before. Build 200,000 new permanently affordable union-built homes over 10 years. Pruitt Igoe, anybody? This guy is like literally retarded. Raise the minimum wage to $30 an hour. If I own a bodega, if I own a burger joint, and my margins are 3 to 4%, how do you raise minimum wage to $30? And what happens when everyone's getting $30? Holy crap. Create a Department of Community Safety with mental health teams for 911 crises. Yeah, we know what happens when you do this. I don't think the policing system is perfect, but holy smokes. Baby baskets is whatever. Sure, I guess. I mean, that's fine. It's going to cost money, and money's got to come from somewhere. Make CUNY tuition free for all NYC residents. And then what happens when every resident can go? Who gets in? You don't. It's just stupid. Closing streets around schools. Well, to be fair, New York is busted. But let me turn my ire to Grok, a far-left, woke, communist platform. You forgot tax white people. Nope. He never proposed taxing white people. Huh? He said to tax homes in richer and whiter neighborhoods. My argument? Why are you lying? Taxing whiter neighborhoods is taxing white people. Nope, says Grok. Taxing whiter neighborhoods is not the same as taxing white people. It literally is. I said, I'm not stupid. Do you try to trick sub 90 IQ people like this often? And my point being, you're not going to pull a fast one on me. No, I don't trick anyone. You're not stupid, and I'm not treating you like you are. Yeah, you are. What is this? I said, would taxing whiter neighborhoods increase taxes on white people disproportionately? Yes, it would. And I said, so when he says tax whiter neighborhoods, he is saying he will tax white people disproportionately. Nope, he's saying he will tax white people. He is not saying he will tax white people disproportionately. I love this. And then I said, he did not say richer neighborhoods. He said whiter. You're right. He said both. I tried arguing those are distinct categories. Richer neighborhoods will be taxed. Whiter neighborhoods will be taxed. And he goes, no. So then I finally got him. I got him. You've decided richer and whiter is one statement, but regardless, it implies richer and blacker neighborhoods would not be taxed. Yes, you are correct on the implication. That means richer but blacker neighborhoods would not be taxed. Oh my God. Thus, he wants to tax white people. Grok, you are insane. Mamdani campaign staffer says Mamdani will provide free gender-affirming care in NYC for anybody who wants it. Trump, just take over New York. I guess that's where we're currently at. Democracy is a mistake. It always has been a mistake. I've never been a fan of it. Now, Scott Pressler says there are reports coming in of voters leaving polling locations in New Jersey. What's happening apparently across these many states, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Virginia, New York, is that people are being disenfranchised. Scott Pressler says Democrats are trying hard to rig these elections. We must overwhelm the polls and make these elections too big to rig. And he's actually got, I stopped pulling up individual examples because there's just so many examples that Scott Pressler has of them trying to rig these elections. Of course, we then have the violence that's been occurring in this country. And I bring this up with this post from Scott Pressler. If Republicans don't vote tomorrow after Charlie Kirk was murdered, then we'll only signal to Democrats that they can get away with violence. Indeed. He says, if you don't vote today, these people win. And someone responded to him saying, in case you haven't heard it today, F Charlie Kirk. We have this video where CBP, now the video shows CBP attempting to merge right, and he gets into an accident with a woman in a black SUV. The question is, you'd argue, I will say this outright, no problem. DHS did not have the right of way. But DHS is arguing that this individual had attempted to block them before and knew what they were doing. In fact, when the police then pull the woman out, because you don't see the beginning of how this conflict happened, she actually assaults the officers. I'm going to go right then and just make the argument that this woman was intending to assault the officers in the first place. Hence, she continues to assault them afterwards. The video starts with DHS attempting to merge right and getting hit on the side. I'm going to tell you this, guys. The DHS vehicle merging doesn't have the right of way, but you can tell the black SUV accelerates and hits them. You can tell because the gray vehicle, you can't really, it's cut off, gets hit. It doesn't merge right into and hit. It gets hit. The black vehicle hit him, and then the woman assaults them after the fact. The point is, this is what Democrats are fomenting in this country, and it's getting worse. They've now apparently arrested 2 men responsible for the explosion at Harvard. We don't know why just yet. They'll release the information at 1. We have no reason to believe it's political, but it's crazy to think that there's an explosion going off at Harvard. It was intentional, and they're saying potentially arson. How much you want to bet it was political? So we'll see. But this is where we're currently at. Cuomo distances himself from Trump endorsement and mayoral race. Some people said maybe Trump should have endorsed Mamdani. We'll see. But we're going to be joined in just a moment. I believe we have Batya. I want to just double check. Batya Ungar-Sargon will be joining us to talk about what is currently going on. There's a few issues at play here. The violence, the manipulations, the prediction markets, the GOP civil war on the issue of Israel. Smash that like button. Share the show with everyone you know. Join us on our Timcast Discord server. The interview will be up at 4 p.m. at rumble.com/theculturewar, as well as youtube.com/Timcast. For those watching live, it will start off in just a minute. For everybody else, smash the like button, share the show. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.